Welcome to a new vlog and trip report, and today we are flying again. We are taking an Airbus A320neo of British Airways from London Heathrow to Frankfurt, and here on the map you can see our approximate flight route today. We are flying with a brand new plane with a registration GTTNY. First flight was on the 21st of June 2024, making her one of the youngest A320 of the British Airways fleet. In my last video I arrived at Heathrow Terminal 5 with a coach of National Express, and then it just took me a couple of minutes to check in and go through security, and then I headed for Wagamama's for a nice lunch, and afterwards I went to the Wetherspoon pub because there I found a power socket and had a drink before the flight whilst working on my laptop, and then it was time to head to the gate. And we are today at one of the satellite terminals of Heathrow, Terminal 5, so we are taking a train from Terminal 5 or 5A to 5B. It's a quite convenient and fast system, and actually I was surprised by how fast this system is. I went in the first carriage and now I can go all the way to the front to watch the driverless train going to the satellite Terminal 5B, and as I said, I was surprised by how fast this train actually is. We're now going around half of the length of the 670 meters long network connecting the main terminal with the two satellite terminals, and as you can see, this train is pretty fast. I was surprised, and it's only taking a couple of seconds to reach the station at the satellite terminal. Here we are already approaching it, and here I'm leaving. The train is then continuing on to the second satellite terminal, but I'm flying from this one today. So here I'm already leaving this train again. It was a very short but interesting ride, and now taking the elevators up, and then I have to just wait for a couple more minutes until boarding starts. Boarding was a bit unnecessarily difficult with a lot of boarding groups, but in the end I got on board this brand new Airbus A320neo, not even 1 year old, delivered in July 2024 to British Airways. Now we can take a look at the interior of this very nice and new plane, and here you can see the seats, and as you can see, they are very nice. It's a very well equipped plane with very comfortable seats, adjustable headrests and power sockets. Seat pitch rather tight but completely okay, comparable to, yeah, let's say any other airline in Europe. There are not too many differences. They are all tight now, so that's completely fine. I really love the headrest. The seat was very comfortable. And here we are already leaving the terminal. After the pushback, we are now going to the runway. As you know, Heathrow only has two runways, so one is used for starts and the other one's for the landings, so all planes have to share the same runway for takeoff. That means that we now have to queue. We have to wait a bit. There are quite a few planes in front of us as we are leaving during evening rush hour, but we were still on time, so that was fine. We're heading off in a western direction, and then we're turning 180 degrees heading east in a direction of Frankfurt. Of course, we're now gonna listen to the takeoff with the original sound here at London Heathrow Airport. And here we are up in the air. Now we're heading to Frankfurt. We are supposed to arrive more or less on time in Frankfurt. We left slightly delayed, but there was a slightly shorter flight time than expected, so that was quite okay. We had a beautiful sunset during takeoff, and now we're turning 180 degrees heading east, flying over the UK, heading over to Belgium, Luxembourg, and then into Germany. The service on board was kind of nice. There was even small snack and a drink whilst we were flying over Dover. And here we are already above mainland Europe, above Belgium. Now we're heading to Germany. Here we are already in Germany, close to Frankfurt. We are now flying past Frankfurt, north of Frankfurt. We're now looking to the south, and here I can see the city of Frankfurt beyond the clouds. It was a very, very beautiful sight. So as we are then turning 480 degrees again, I will have the view of Frankfurt even twice. So that was a very spectacular approach to Frankfurt. But for now we're flying past Frankfurt. We are now above Bruchköbel and Hanau, where I'm often working for Reisejung. Maybe you've seen my videos with Reisejung. That is their hometown, and shortly after Hanau we're turning 480 degrees again, and now we're heading for Frankfurt, flying over Hanau, Offenbach and past the city center of Frankfurt to the airport of Frankfurt. This is a very spectacular approach if you have the chance to sit on the right side when you're approaching Frankfurt from the east, because you will see those skyscrapers and the beautiful skyline of Frankfurt. There was a second plane right next to us approaching Frankfurt parallel with us, so that means that we're not gonna have the new runway. We have one of the old ones, which means it's a shorter taxi to the airport after landing, and here we can enjoy the beautiful view of the city center of Frankfurt from my plane window. I filmed this with my phone, which is a bit better when it's dark outside, so we can see a bit more of the skyline of Frankfurt. We're now approaching the biggest airport of Germany, the most important airport here in this country, and here we can see the skyscrapers in the background. As you can see, there was a bit of wind. We were slightly moving during our approach, but nothing extreme, so should be a quite normal landing now in Frankfurt. We are on time, so everything seems to be perfectly fine. You can see the skyscrapers. Now we're switching back to the GoPro, and now we can look at and listen to the landing here at the airport of Frankfurt. So we've now just landed on time. We are now going to Terminal 2. Terminal 1 is only used for Star Alliance. We are One World Airlines, so we have to go to Terminal 2. Here we can take a look at the beautiful interior of this plane once again. As you can see, it's a very, very nice plane. It was a nice flight with a very nice crew, so I really enjoyed this flight. Unfortunately, we have to take the bus now to go to the terminal, but I was expecting now to just collect my luggage and then head home. As Terminal 2 is a smaller terminal, I was not expecting any problems, but I was wrong with that, because it took us more than 1 hour to get the luggage. I had to wait for 1 hour next to the belt waiting for my luggage. It was only announced as delayed, no information about when it will come, and at one point it just disappeared from the screen, and around 30 angry people were going to the only employee to be found there. And then another 10 to 15 minutes later we finally got our luggage. So that was unfortunately a bad ending to a very nice flight, but the flight itself, that was very good. So here you can see when the next video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.